Now let's add huge gaps to our heading and many line breaks like this. When I refresh the page, you can see that the browser removed all the extra spaces and new lines. Multiple spaces, new lines, and tabs become one single space. It's like HTML is on a strict diet. This means if you try to format your HTML with extra spaces or line breaks for readability, the browser will simply ignore it. Why? Well, HTML is designed to display content in the most efficient way possible. The browser strips out unnecessary whitespace to keep things tidy and readable for your users. But what if we actually wanted to show all these spaces and line breaks? We've got two tools for that: HTML entities and the pre-tag. HTML entities are special codes that help us to add different interesting symbols to our web page. For a space that the browser won't ignore or remove, we write ampersand and BSP semicolon, which stands for non-breaking space. This is an HTML entity for a space that the browser will always recognize. One entity creates one space. So if we want like 5 consecutive spaces that browser won't strip away, I'll add 5 non-breaking space entities. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. One initial regular space and 5 more created by the HTML entities. So the syntax for an HTML entity is ampersand and then the entity name followed by a semicolon. There are many HTML entities you can have fun with. Just Google HTML entity list and use any of those websites. Let's remove all the extra new lines and add an H2 element that has a few entities from a playing card suit. There you go. Some characters are reserved in HTML. They have a specific function, like less than or greater than symbols, which we use to create tags. To display these characters as part of your content, we also use HTML entities. For example, if we want this opening H2 tag and closing H2 tag to appear as is in the browser, I need to use HTML entities instead of the less than or greater than symbols. Let me first replace this with plain content. This way it's going to be easier for us to read. Then I'll change less than to ampersand LT, less than, semicolon, and greater than to ampersand GT, greater than, semicolon. I'll do the same for the closing header tag. Now we can see those symbols in the browser and it's just plain text. I'll remove everything again except for the H1 element. Let's say we want to show text or code exactly as we type it, with all its spaces and line breaks. It would be very cumbersome to achieve that with HTML entities. That's where the pre-tag helps. Pre stands for pre-formatted text. I'll put back our little story as the content and a couple of new lines so that we had more formatting. Whatever you put inside a pre-tag will appear exactly as you type it, including all spaces and line breaks. It's like saying, keep this text the way I wrote it, please. Here, the pre-tag ensures that the text keeps its formatting and all the extra spaces and new lines remain visible. It's a handy tag for when you need to display code snippets or formatted text. If this video was helpful, subscribe to get more. Now, check out this next video.